want to look at some of the things.
Hello, Dana. It's so hot in here.
Hi guys, today we're going to be talking about importance of marketing plans and marketing plans in general. But the catch is we want to talk about how important it is for startups. So listen up, all of you startups.
Startups and SMBs.
Yeah, so startups and SMBs, the importance of having a marketing plan in particular, and then looking into the details of it, how you can do it and how you can go about it. So let's ask Joshua, why do you think it is really important for startups? So before we get into the importance of knowing a marketing plan, let's also talk about what is a marketing plan.
Yeah. Okay. So a marketing plan is something that you decide when you first start your business. These are goals that you want your business to accomplish in a specific set of time. This could be either increased customer engagement, this could be increased sales, it could be increased brand familiarity, or just anything which you want your business to accomplish in a specific set of time. And the marketing efforts which you put behind your goals is what we're going to be helping you with today.
And also, something to put it even more simply, I would say marketing plan is essentially what you're doing and how you're doing it, and then next, where to do it and how to measure all of it. So, at the basic level, it's just going to guide your whole steps in the coming time, whether it's a year or it could be or it could be a longer thing. So, now that we've dealt with that question, how about we talk about why is it so important for small, medium to small businesses?
So when we're thinking about startups or small businesses, essentially we think of companies or businesses who are running low on funds in the beginning, at least. So we assume that these people or these companies do not have an established marketing department in place, and mainly it's like one or two people behind the entire marketing of the company. So we need this to be cost effective. This needs to be efficient, and generally this needs to be easily executable. The importance part comes in that so if the strength of a company is not so much, we want them to have a plan in place which they will follow, and you're not just winging anything. And speaking from experience, I've when I was not a professional, I started marketing my own brand on Instagram, and I did not have a plan in place. So I was floundering anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
And which resulted in me not accomplishing a lot of goals. And it was just a lot of effort, a lot of content being put out, but there was no return.
Yeah.
So when you put a marketing plan in place, when you put it to paper, you know what you have to do in 3 months, you know what goals you want to accomplish in 6 months, and what returns you want to have in another year.
Yeah. So it's also more about holding yourself accountable. So a lot of time, a lot of startups, they're actually even seeing results, but they have nothing in place that can help them measure it, their success, how far they've come from point A to point B, which is why sometimes they would find themselves very confused on what whether they have seen those results or not. So again, exactly. If your brand, let's say, is a small, let's say, hair care brand that's just starting out, right? It's safe to assume that when you're starting out, you might not have a lot of resources, just like Joshua said, and you might find yourself at a place where you're just swinging everything, and that could actually reduce your effort on the marketing side, or you might not place that sort of importance, which is something that I've seen a lot of brands do. They do not understand the importance of it due to lack of knowledge, and sometimes they even think that there's other departments, so for example, say sales or even operations, that needs much more importance than marketing. But when you come to think of it, marketing is actually that defining point, that defining voice that is driving all of your efforts. That is actually that one place where you're actually communicating with your target audience. So whether it's B2B, B2C, it's like a guiding thing. It's like a beacon for all of the other operations.
Simply put, when you devise a marketing plan and the entire marketing team's effort, it lays the foundation for the sales and operations teams to go off on.
Yeah.
So it's important that you have a strong foundation, And because, of course, if the sales team is trying to get a certain amount of sales done in a specific amount of time, it might not be possible if the customers don't trust the brand that they want to buy from.
So, to go over all these points again, the importance is such that it can help you define a clear set of goals. It can also ensure that your marketing activity is consistent and accounted for. Number three, it can also ensure that the voice that you have been setting for your brand that is followed through and through. And then it also helps overall with actual communication with your audience. So these are some of the important points that you could take into account when you think that you might not really need a marketing plan, but in fact you really do. So how about we also help our watchers or viewers know how can they actually make a marketing plan? If someone's out there and they don't know where to start, what would you tell them?
Advise them to first look at the bigger picture. Look at the goals that you want to accomplish in a specific set of time. For example, if it's a small business, it would be advisable to look at a yearly goal, yearly goals. And it could be anything which I spoke about before. You want to increase brand awareness about your business. You want to spark conversations on social media about the work that you're doing or the products that you're offering. It could be any of that. So first, look at the bigger picture as to what you want or how you want your brand to be perceived in a single year.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I was gonna also suggest that when you're devising a marketing plan and you're just new in the market, it's also at the point where you can start with having a brand overview. That is to summarize what you're actually doing in the market. Start with that, define the functions of your brand, where you want to be at, and then maybe you could you could start with defining the mission and the vision for your brand, where you want to be, let's say in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And then you could also define the voice that you want to have for your brand. At this point, do you think it is important to also look at the competitive landscape
Of
or
course.
having a market research?
Of course. So when you're defining a brand or you're defining a strategy for the year or a few set of years, it's important to look at your competitors, because if they're established businesses, you have someone or a brand to look up to. You want to achieve maybe that level of success, and you want to maybe have that kind of attention that the brand's having. So it's important to look at the efforts that they're making, what channels they're present on, and what are the approaches they're taking on to engage their customers and increase sales. Okay, you could maybe create a need which your competitors are maybe not fulfilling. It could be the same product, but it could be marketed in a different way that solves a different set of problems for the same audience.
And this also reminds me, once you've done this sort of research, this time would really help you once you've identified the gaps. This would actually help you define your position as well. So let's say you are again doing hair care for someone, or you're bringing a hair care product in the market. You could look at your competitors. If, for example, they are positioning themselves as a budget friendly brand, maybe you could check out your resources and see what sort of capabilities you have. And if you have those capabilities, maybe you could position yourself as something that is more targeted towards a particular kind of hair type. Yeah.
For example, if we're talking about, so Ushba has a brand, it's catering to people who have hair fall. And so her brand is centered around catering to people who have hair fall. The entire marketing plan is devised against hair fall and whatever. So I wanted to launch my own set of hair care brand as well. And despite it being hair care, and I want to target the same customer base as well, so I could maybe look at a different angle. I could maybe target people who are suffering from male pattern baldness. And her product, it's maybe be a similar product, like it's a hair fall product or whatever, but I'm defining it specifically targeted towards male pattern baldness. It affects men and women. So
you're finding your niche in that market. So yeah, that exactly rightfully said. So the marketing plan at this stage can help you find that niche that you're looking for, something that you could deliver to and get the most out of your, for example, all the efforts that you're putting in. So once you have also looked at the competitors, this is also the time where you can, I think, start building your own efforts. You could start with knowing what sort of content you want to put out there, what sort of channels you're going to take, what sort of routes, for example, you're going to take, which sort of social media channels you want to be at, whether it is important for you to be at every channel or not. Because sometimes startups, they get really overwhelmed. They do not know which channels they should start with. So once you have actually researched your market, you have researched your competitors, what sort of channels they're at, what are those channels that are most relevant to your audience, relevant to their audience, that could give you a good idea, a clear idea that maybe TikTok is the best way to start with and maybe Facebook is not. So it really depends on your audience. So research, research, research. It's really important, especially when you are just starting out the market. It's definitely really important. What do you think are the other crucial steps that can help people make their marketing plan?
Okay, guys. So the goals that you have to define for your marketing efforts should be smart. Okay, they should be specific. They should be measurable. They should be achievable. They should be relevant, and they should be time bound. For example, if you're defining the goals for 1 to 3 years down the line, they should be very specific. For example, if it's a hair care business that's starting out, you, of course, it has no presence on social media whatsoever, and you want your growth to be organic, not paid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with paid, but if it's organic, then your goals should be realistic. It would make sense for a big brand or someone
investing money.
Investing money into their brand, for them to set the goal to achieve 50,000 or 100,000 followers in the first 6 months. But of course, if it's a small brand, it might not be possible. So it's important that you set realistic goals from the get-go. Because of course, when you're working down the line and if you don't achieve a specific set of goals or whatever, it's easy to get discouraged. So in order to avoid that kind of negativity, it's important that you start off on the right foot. And speaking about the time-bound part, it's important that you have a deadline for your goals. For example, if you reach the 6 month part and you haven't achieved like 50% of your goals, it could give you a head start to prepare for the next quarter, that you need to put the extra amount of effort to achieve that certain specific goal. So time boundedness also increases self-discipline, and it it works. Trust me, it works.
And I think the next part is, once you've set these goals, it's important to know the KPIs you're going to measure it against. So this is where you know whatever efforts that you put in, what sort of results you've been getting from it. So let's say you have a PR campaign that you're doing. You've decided that you want to work with an influencer and get their followers, get their engagement. So what are some of those key KPIs that you're going to track your success against, right? You want to know after working with that influencers what sort of brand mentions you've been getting, that is the overall sentiment that that person has created for your brand. So these are some of those KPIs that you could track against. Similarly, your KPIs highly depend on the goals you've set. So whether it's on digital, whether it's on mass media, your KPIs would change against accordingly. And you should also remember that KPIs can also change according to campaign. So maybe one campaign's goal itself is to increase brand loyalty. So your KPI would again make sense to be about loyalty and how you can measure that loyalty. But when it's about getting sales, it's more like sales driven. You have to increase, say for example, 50% sales in the next quarter, or that's a high number, but just for an example's sake. So your KPIs are going to be according as well. So this is how you basically can make your marketing plan. And what else were you mentioning?
I was mentioning that once you have the data from your KPIs, it just gives you an edge as to how you could make changes into your marketing plan accordingly. For example, if you don't have enough customer engagement, but you have brand loyalty from a limited set of followers, you could alter your marketing plan in a way that increases more engagement along with loyalty.
So you could basically tweak your marketing plan as you go. This brings us to the end of our video, and before we do that,
we have a brand guidelines and a marketing plan guideline on our website, which I'll be sure to link below in the comments. And do check it out and let us know if that helps you establish your marketing plan for the coming year.
Or if you want to get help in getting it more detailed, feel free to reach out to us so we can help you get started.
We'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye.
Bye.